All right, YouTube, welcome back to the show. This is going to be a Thursday throwdown. Stay tuned. So, hey, YouTube, what's going on? Welcome to Thursday. This is going to come out being pre recorded for your viewing pleasure. Bad prepper advice, things that people say that are bad advice. Morgan, our host over at Road Preparedness, did a question. It wasn't even a video. She did a question, statement on her community page. Basically, is there anything, what is some bad prepper advice that is out there you have or whatever? And my comment was, as long as it's not false, there is no bad prepper advice. And then I got to thinking. I'm like, well, is that really true? So I wanted to do this video, but Morgan's always doing good content and continuing to press away on getting people prepared for all situations at all times and doing so in a common sense manner. So shout out to her. If you don't follow her for whatever reason because you haven't run across her channel, go check out Road Preparedness. Link below in the comment section in the description box. So go check. I'm going to read some notes here just to make sure I stay on track somewhat and don't get too sidetracked and don't make this video like 20 minutes long or something crazy like that, right? But is any advice good advice? We all know there's bad advice out there on the YouTube. Obviously blaring bad advice. I guess if you're a new prepper or kind of just not understanding kind of things, like things can sneak up on people because you're desperate. Desperate people make bad decisions. If you're really trying to get prepared fast, because you see the situation and you're all of a sudden your head's spinning because things are bad and you just now realize it, you know you need to prep. Like you see people comment on videos every now and then like that, like, oh, I'm just now getting into prepping and just realized the situation. Okay, you're going to potentially fall for some bad advice. But is any advice good advice? And so that's probably not true. Even the way you temper your advice, I guess, makes all the difference. And not all advice is for all people. So there's that too. I remember way back, and many channels do this, and I'm guilty of this, I guess, is maybe it's not appropriate advice all the time. And it's always been, get out of the city, whatever you can do, get out of the city. It's been some advice that's been pushed by me as well. Sorry, Steve. Steve's always happy in his suburban hovel. But it's not necessarily the best or good advice for everybody at all times. And I kind of walked that back a little bit back during 2020 in particular, but thinking also about prepping for just-in-time prepping type of stuff. Do not leave your circle of support and trust just to get out of the city. If you have a good circle of trust and support where you are in a metropolitan area, stay there unless you have some similar structure set up somewhere else. I think that was something we've kind of went back and forth on over the years, and saying to get out of the city at all costs is kind of bad advice to a certain degree. We always point out to Tony as the example of what to do should you need to get out of the city. Like, work at it, continue to work, continue to press, continue the things you got to do. Like, take it over time, but just to pick up within a matter of months and go out of the city, like, without knowing where you're going is not a good idea. You have to have a plan, back it up with something. So that's some bad advice that's out there that kind of, you got to put some thought and preparation into it just to get out of the city. Don't just pick up and leave, unless you are bugging out because, obvious for weird reasons. Whatever the situation may be at the time, that's a on-the-spot decision you have to make. But for as far as pre-planning it, definitely pre-plan it. Right? It's funny. Rule the Wasteland down there moved from a fairly decent location in Florida, it seemed like, to Las Vegas. And I'm like, what are you doing? But for whatever business reasons or whatever, he did that. Like, okay, make it work, right? He's got his economic preparedness concerns that he's focused on, not necessarily, Chinese falling out of the sky or nukes or whatever. But I always found that weird that he moved from a fairly prepared location in Florida to Las Vegas. Baffled my mind, but he's an expert prepper, so hey, he's on his game. Another thing of bad advice is absolutism. People who say it absolutely has to be this way. People that say you have to take it in this step, or you have to take it in this fashion or this manner. My way or the highway. This is the way. This is the item you need to prep. Like that's bad advice. There is no absolute, other than to prep and continue to prep in some form or fashion is good advice. But to say it's this way or no way is really bad. And I don't know if I follow the other channels. I have heard that anecdotally around the YouTube over the years, but those channels don't usually press that message for long, or they don't last long. There are people, there's the lone wolf types that continue to press the lone wolf message ad nauseum, it seems like, and that's bad advice. That's really bad advice, the lone wolf thing. But anybody pushes in absolutes is pushing bad advice in my opinion, in particular. But there's still truisms. There's still things that are factual that are good advice that you want to take on board. If anybody out there is new to the idea of stocking up water, beans, bullets, and Band-Aids, like if you're just new to that game, like there is a lot of good advice out there to take on, but you have to take it with a grain of salt for what your situation is, because everybody comes at this from a different perspective, a different direction, a different situation. You have to apply it to your situation in life. You can't just do what somebody else is doing and expect it to work. You have to put some thought into it. Prepping is not just a puzzle piece that you snap in and hey, bam, it works. There's a little more craftsmanship that goes into it, and you have to do that craftsmanship. You have to be the one that puts that work in to apply that. Like even just the basic food bucket, right? Putting together a Mylar bucket with food. Okay. How does that apply to your situation? Is that something you eat? Is that do you have a place to store it? Does it fit into a rotation or a menu plan, or does it meet your nutritional needs? Like, what is your situation in life? Not everybody wants wheat flour because of allergies and everything else. Like, there's all kinds of things going on nowadays. But the basics are still effective, and water, food, storage, all that stuff applies to all situations, in all scenarios. You need to start with the basics and build up from there. Look at yourself and say, do I have 3 days stored up of non-perishable food that I can just have, that should the power go down, should the hurricane hit, should the tornado hit, should this and this happen, I have that to exist off of. Bottled water. Check that box. Check those small basic boxes. I will say that an absolute truism in prepping is you have to have a pocket knife. If you don't have a pocket knife, you're not prepared. Because some things with the basics, eventually you start going and you're getting through stuff. It's like you'll get to a point you're like, I need this, and it's a basic item like a pocket knife, like fingernail clippers, like lip balm or chapstick of some sort, like some basic things like that are multi-purpose, multi-use, can be used daily. You end up coming back to after you've prepared for so long and realized, so looking at videos about basic, pocket items is what I call them. Some people call them their what do people call their EDC? People have their EDC items that they carry. Those tools that you have with you every day are something that you should just get too used to now. That's an absolute truism, I think, that has evolved to where you can say that yes, you should do this regardless. And then you go into the factor that there's people that work in buildings that have metal detectors. You can't carry a pocket knife. It's like, man, so sad for your luck. That sucks. Especially if you fly out. Like if you fly a lot. Well, if you fly a lot, you probably put it in your checked bags. But then the sticky finger TSA guys pick up your pocket knife, right? Like there's some bad situations out there that I guess it doesn't apply. It's like, man, there are other absolute truisms, So, but you definitely, the pocket items, EDC stuff is something that start there first. If you can't carry, your basics around every day, so that you have a little bit of cash, a little bit of, your contact information, these things with you every day, like are you really preparing? Are you really in it up here to be able to do the other things wrapped around, other than just having a stash in a closet that's there that you haven't put no thought into, you know? So having that build a block approach is the most absolute key thing in that piece of advice that I can give. Having that build and block approach, 3 days storage, a week, a month, and just going at it like that, looking at all the things, medical, tools needed, construction materials if you need it, for especially looking at your biggest hazard. That goes back to the Midwest Prepper Pyramid, which, if you didn't miss the short, I had to dispose of recently, but I had to rebuild it. But I had that graphic on that whiteboard for what, 6-7 years, and I slightly modified it. The one video I did talking about it. So knowing your most likely hazard in your area where you are is key to starting your approach. So that's an absolute ism too, is what is most likely for you where you are. Earthquake, tornado, hurricane, crime, riots. Are you getting to the point to where riots are your most likely threat? I don't know. But theft is a big one. Robbery, fire, house fire, wildfire, like those things are legit more important than the economic collapse. Even though I think the economic collapse is ultimately coming, you have time, take the steps necessary to get you through a house fire. Have fire extinguishers, right? Have that insurance for your everyday events. So, yeah, bad prepping advice is out there. Absolutism is dangerous. Don't get roped into the rope-a-dope of doing it my way or the highway, or follow this method. Don't think that you have to be a homesteader. Homesteaders like the pinnacle. I'm not even a fully off-grid homesteader. Like Arizona Unplugged, shout out, doing the things after moving out of SoCal. Tony's basically a homesteader. I'm not even to that point. Even though I had a pretty good spread, I don't have full, especially on the water side. Just got things still got to do. And that's only to be independent. I guess bad advice is saying you have to prepare for the absolute worst case scenario. I think once you get into it and you start preparing for the little things, you realize that, hey, I might as well be prepared for the big things. I think that's kind of a natural progression of thought. Like, yeah, this is not such a bad idea, and oh, look at that on the news, or this going on in my area. Politicians are lying to me. This is going on, or whatever. Like, I need to prepare for the bigger picture. I think that's just a progression that everybody goes through. Or you will, once you've done this game long enough, So I'll leave you with that, YouTube. This is kind of long, but as a Throwdown Thursday, we'll throw it all out there and see who chimes in, kicks back. And just hope you all have a good day, weekend. If I don't talk to you before then, prep hard, pray hard, live free.